We start with the chant. Please chant. Let's do it. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitam Astu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Om, may the all-pervading Spirit protect us. May the all-pervading Spirit nourish us. May we work together with great energy. May our study be illuminating. May love and harmony dwell amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. So we have started Katha Upanishad and started with story. A person named Bhajasravas, because he was the son of a person called Bhajasravaha. So he was doing a fire sacrifice which was not complete. So he was giving away things which his young son Nachiketa found unacceptable. So he wanted to compensate. He had faith in him that I'll be of good service to anyone whom I will be gifted to. So he asked his father, whom are you giving me to? His father first ignored him, but when he kept on repeating the question, he inadvertently or annoyingly said, I give you to death. Nachiketa then says, since you have declared it so, let it be true. And he gives his father the reasons that since you have given your word, you should keep your word. Truth is more important than a life, because people die and take birth and go through all the phases and die anyway. So for such a reason, you should not hesitate me to go to the house of death. And when he goes there, he waits there for 3 nights. And Yama, when he comes back, he wants to compensate Nachiketa for waiting 3 nights without food or water. So he says, I will give you 3 boons to compensate for your three nights of waiting. And Nachiketa asks the boon that first boon is, when I go back from here, let my father recognize me. So go to death, come back, that means you are a ghost. So let it not be so. Means I go back there as I was there. Okay. Secondly, let there not be any ill feeling. Let my father don't have any anger for me for what I have done. So he should recognize me, have peace with me, and he be relaxed and free from all the anxieties. That up to that we saw. And Yama, the god of death, immediately grants this boon. That is what we are going to study today. Here it is. So, yathā purastāt, this is being told by Yama. Yama is now answering to Nachiketa. Yathā purastāt bhavitā pratītaḥ auddālakiḥ āruṇiḥ mat-prasṛṣṭaḥ sukham rātrīḥ śayitā vīta-manyuḥ tam dadṛśivān mṛtyu-mukhāt pramuktam. Let Auddālaki Āruṇi, your father, becomes reassured and peaceful as before, upon seeing you released by me. Let him sleep peacefully through the nights, free from anger, having seen you freed from the mouth of death. Yama immediately grants all of the boons, plus he adds one thing, that let your father sleep peacefully. Okay. So here's one thing. We suddenly come across these two terms, Auddālaki Āruṇi. What does it mean? So it's quite of confusion. What are the what is actually Nachiketa's father's name? Okay, Nachiketa's father's original name is what? Can anyone have? Can anyone try? Nachiketa's father's proper name, legal name.
Bhajastravas.
Bhajastravas means son of Bhajastrava. Okay. What?
Son of Auddālaki Āruṇi.
Yes, that is also son of Auddālaka. Okay. Āruṇi, son of Aruna. Okay. So what is actually his father's name?
Is it Vajrashravasa?
No, Vajrashrava means son of Vajrashrava. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Go no further, just the last verse. When Nachiketa asks for the boon, Gautama, in the previous verse, the verse where he asks for the boon, he says, my father, Gautama, let him be at peace, free from anxiety. Okay. So here is the big puzzle. What is Nachiketa's father's name and how many names he has been described by? So Nachiketa's father's name was Gautama, previous verse. Okay. His grandfather was Auddālaka. So in Sanskrit, Auddālaka, you add a pratyaya and it becomes son of Auddālaka, Auddālaki. So Auddālaka, that is Nachiketa's grandfather, earned the title Bhajastravas. Why? Because he did a lot of charity. Because of that, he earned the name Bhajastravas. But his actual name was Auddālaka. Okay. And given name was, or not given name, you may say, popularized name or earned name was Bhajastravas. And in their lineage, there was some great person called Aruna. That's why his Nachiketa's father is Auddālaki as son of Auddālaka, as well as belonging to the tradition of Aruna. So Āruṇiḥ. Okay. So Gautama was Auddālakiḥ Āruṇi. Seen the whole picture now? So Nachiketa's father was Gautama. Gautama's father was Auddālaka. Auddālaka earned the title Bhajastravas because of his charity. And then his son Gautama, Nachiketa's father, earned the title Bhajastravasa, son of Bhajastravasa, as well as Auddālaki, son of Auddālaka. And finally, there was someone else in the lineage, Āruṇiḥ. Or there is a second interpretation that Nachiketa's mother was the only daughter, only sibling. She did not have any brother or anyone else. So in that case, as it used to happen, Nachiketa's not mother, it is Gautama's mother. Okay, Gautama's mother probably was single child. So she brought the title Aruna from their side. Okay, so it is patriarchal as well as matriarchal. Both the names come. That's an alternative explanation. But the point is, Gautama is Nachiketa's father. Okay, his name is Gautama. That is the point. All right. So that is clarified by Yama Auddālaki Āruṇi. Yathā purastāt bhavitā pratītaḥ. May Gautama feel reassured as before. As before means before the incident happened, before all this altercation happened and you had to come. So he feel reassured as before, and may things return to their formal, peaceful, loving state. And not only that, although Nachiketa did not ask for, Yama himself says that your father will get peaceful sleep, which the sleep is important and which may be disturbed due to this grief, regret, or anger. So your father will be free from all of this. He'll be also free from anger, vīta-manyuḥ. Any anger that Nachiketa's father might have had, let them dissolve. And seeing you released by me, let him be free from anger and be at peace. So let his father see him returned from death's jaws. Okay. That is the thing. Whatever Nachiketa asks, that my father be at peace, Yama said, yes, your father will be at peace. He will recognize you. He will be happy to see you going back from here. And even when you are absent, he will have good sleeps at night. So point to note, when we pray for others, let's also pray for their good sleep. That's a good prayer. That let them sleep well. Okay. Let them sleep well. That is what probably Yama is showing us, teaching us. Now, having taken care of his father and getting assured by Yama, he, Nachiketa, goes for the second boon. So next 6 verses are dedicated to this second boon. Okay, 6 verses dedicated to the second boon, what Nachiketa asks for. What Nachiketa asks for heaven, how to go to heaven. Okay, svarge loke na bhayaṃ kiṃcana asti, na tatra tvaṃ na jarayā bibheti, ubhe tīrtvā aśanāyā pipāse, shokātīgah modate sarga loke. In the heavenly world, there is no fear whatsoever. You are not present there, and no one fears old age in the heaven. Having transcended both hunger and thirst, freed from sorrow, one rejoices in the heavenly world. That is what Nachiketa says. Okay. And so Nachiketa asks for heaven because he has heard from others. He has heard from others that there is such a place called heaven, and it has got a lot of promises. So he wants to go there. And what has he heard from others? That in heaven, there is no fear. No fear of what? No fear of 2 things. One is old age. Old age, which is a common fear here in our world, but it is heaven. Physical body is absent, so there is no question of old age. And death is absent. so there is no fear of death. Yama is not present there. In heaven, nobody is afraid to die immediately. Okay. So heaven, the concept of heaven in the Upanishads, what we find, it is relatively permanent, more permanent than this world. But even that has got an ending. Okay, that has got an ending. When our good karma will be all exhausted, one will have to come back and to work out their moksha. Moksha and spiritual freedom is the ultimate freedom. Rest of heaven and all of this may appear to be a wonderful place to be, but that is not also ultimate. So what has he heard from heaven? That there is no fear of old age and no fear of death. Plus, people are not afflicted by hunger and thirst. Why? There must be plenty of supply of food and water. It is not that there is no hunger and thirst, but hunger and thirst is there, but supply is also there. Okay, that is the point probably. And there is no grief. Why no grief? Because this world is imperfect world, unjust world, but heaven must be a just place and it's perfect place. That is the conception of heaven in all the religions, that all the injustice we are seeing here, all the shortcomings we are seeing here, imperfection we are seeing here, they are absent in the heaven. So that is the reason Nachiketa wants to go to heaven. And because all of these are absent, there is no fear of old age, no fear of death. People are not afflicted by hunger and thirst, and there is no grief of imperfection. Therefore, everybody rejoices modate in heaven. Modate in heaven. So it really is interesting that this concept of heaven can be found in almost all the religions of the world. And we find that the common description, the commonality of the heaven description is that heaven is a place for joy and peace. Okay, there is bliss, serenity, freedom from some worldly sufferings. Then heaven is a moral reward. If we live morally here, then we earn our passage to heaven. And usually heaven is also a place of divine presence. God or gods are present there, and we will be in touch with them, in communion with them. Then another concept of heaven is reunion. Many traditions emphasize that heaven includes reunion with the loved ones, those who loved ones, who ancestors, or those who have already left us from this world, loved ones. We shall reunite with them in heaven, and it's a wonderful place for beauty, light, and beauty. So here we can take a quick look at how heaven is been conceived in different faith traditions. Mostly known, still it's a time to, we can take a look at it. Christianity, it is called heaven, an eternal realm of divine presence and perfect peace for the redeemed. In Islam, it is called Jannat, Jannat, a lush paradise of gardens and rivers where the faithful enjoy eternal joy near Allah. Swami Vivekananda somewhere, I think in this lecture on Katha Upanishad, he said that our conception of heaven depends very much our present circumstances. So Islam, which was from Middle East, they had desert and lack of water, not too much of water. So their conception of heaven is lush paradise. So much of green and so much of water and rivers. In Judaism, heaven is called Gan Eden, that is Garden of Eden, or in Hebrew it is called Olam Hava, a spiritual world of closeness to God, and it's a place for peace for the righteous. Hinduism, Sargaloka, we already are familiar. In Buddhism, it is called Devaloka, and there is another name, Sukhavati, or Pure Land. There is a Buddhism called Pure Land Buddhism. They think of the highest goal is the reaching Pure Land, where they can a serene paradise created by Buddha to aid liberation. Sikhism, they said, heaven is a place where one unites with their Almighty Waheguru, a timeless state of merging with the divine. Similarly, Zoroastrianism, they call it House of Song, Garothman, a radiant abode of harmony and truth for souls aligned with Asha. Asha, they in Zoroastrianism there are two ideas of the good and evil, and they are two persons. They are fighting all the time. The good one, God angels, are called Asha, and I forgot the name of the other one. Then Taoism or Taoism, the name of heaven is called Tian, a heavenly realm of balance and virtue under the mandate of cosmic order. Okay. So we find this idea of heaven in every religion. And so Nachiketa also had heard good things about heaven, so he wants to go to heaven. And what more, he says, so Nachiketa then, having said all the good things about heaven, he asks for the second boon. What is the second boon he asks for?
Maharaj, question.
Yes.
In Mundaka Upanishad, we studied heaven is not a place to be sought for, we should stars. We should seek spiritual liberation, moksha.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. That is the final position of Vedanta. Okay. But that is what actually Yama will tell Nachiketa later on. But for the time being, Nachiketa is interested in going to heaven. Okay. So he asks for heaven as the second boon. Any questions so far? Yes, go ahead.
So is verse 12 Nachiketa speaking?
This verse?
Number 12?
Yes, the one we just read now.
Okay.
So Nachiketa is giving a prelude, introduction
Okay,
to
okay.
his second boon.
Because his first boon was to return to his father.
Right, right. And now, as in a prelude or introduction to his second boon, he says, I have heard so many good things about heaven. Okay. Now he will ask the boon proper. What is the boon he goes for?
Maharaj, I think he's asking for his father because his father was doing sacrifice to go to heaven.
Yeah. So yes. Okay. That's an interpretation that Nachiketa did not want it for himself. Okay. But Nachiketa says, Acha. Nachiketa asks this boon for how to go to heaven. He does not say that I want to go to heaven. He says that I have heard good things about heaven. Tell me how to go to heaven. He says, Tvaṃ agnim svargyam adheshi mṛtyu prabruhi tvam śraddhadhanayo mayham sargaloka amritatvam bhajanta etat ditiyena brine barena. O death, you know the fire sacrifice that leads to heaven. Please teach it to me, who is filled with reverent faith. the dwellers of heaven partake in immortality. This I choose as my second boon. So I want to know about that particular fire ritual that takes one to heaven. And you should tell me about this because I am faithful, śraddha-dhanaya. I have faith that it is possible to go to heaven with this the ritual. So just tell me that. So Nachiketa says, you know, I know that you know. Okay. So my question was, how did Nachiketa assume that Yama had knowledge about this fire? So it appears, and Yama, and there may be two reasons. One is Yama as a god who knows many things is also aware of that fire sacrifice that leads to heaven. That is what Nachiketa assumed. Or since Yama was dealing the department of death, so he also must be knowing how to escape, I mean, after death, how to go to heaven. Okay. These are the probably premises which made Nachiketa think that I think you know, so you should tell me. And what you should tell me? Sargyam Agnim. Sargyam Agni, we have to note here, is not just a generic fire ceremony. Sargam Agni is a name of a ritual. Name of a ritual. Okay. So there in that ritual, there are some specifics. How to do this ritual, how to kindle the fire, how to arrange the firewoods, what should be the size and shape of the fire pit, all of these. A particular kind of ritual called Sargam Agni. So it is not simply any fire leading to heaven, but a ritual named Sargam Agnihi, which done perfectly leads one to heaven. Tell me about that fire ceremony, that particular fire ceremony that take ones to heaven. Okay. And yes. And how a fire ritual takes one to heaven? So, any idea? We have discussed it earlier. Let's see how many can recall. What is the what is the rationale? How does it work? Doing a ritual and taking to heaven?
Does it have anything to do with the renunciation, like you're renouncing everything, including the ladle you use and the person who's doing the ritual?
Yeah, so he's undergoing some sacrifices, right? He's doing some sacrifices. And how that leads to heaven. I mean, what is the explanation? The explanation is not very logical that Harvard University accept, but that is their paradigm. In that paradigm, they say that when we do a ritual perfectly, as we are supposed to do, it creates a thing which cannot be seen, called apurva. Apurva. Apurva means which cannot be grasped, which cannot be seen, but it is a subtle thing we create. When we do some good work, we always, when we do punna, then apurva is created. And that apurva, that subtle bank balance, is what takes us, rewards us after we die. Okay. Now there are two schools of Vedanta or Mimamsa, the Uttara Mimamsa and the Purva-mīmamsa. Purva-mīmamsa is the school which are mostly ritualistic. They deal with rituals, only rituals. They say that apurva itself is sufficient to take one to heaven. But Vedantins, the Uttar Mimamsa, they say that no, Ishvara is needed. Ishvara, God, God's duty is to dispense the apurva, the karma phala, the fruits of action. Whatever we have earned as our merits, which remain in subtle deposit, which is overseen by Ishvara. And after death, Ishvara simply dispenses the result. But devotees have another point. Devotees say that if Ishvara wants, they can modify the karma phala. Okay. So Ishvara as a karma phala data is the standard position of Vedanta. Mimamsa says, no, karma phala itself is sufficient. There is no need for Ishvara as such. Okay. And devotees says that Ishvara is like a judge, local judge. Okay. The judge can interpret the rules of law sometimes leniently. So a judge can take a lenient interpretation and gives a easier karma phala or result.
Sentence.
Reward, sentence. Exactly. Similarly, if we live a good life and God-oriented life, then by divine grace, God can not totally obliterate karma phala, but they can make slight changes in karma phala. Holy Mother is quoted in this context. Holy Mother said that if God is pleased with you, your spiritual life, then probably you are supposed to get hurt badly, but now I will get hurt only lightly. It will not be a big problem for you. Okay. So this is how we should understand that creating yajna, doing yajna, fire sacrifice perfectly creates such a thing called apurva. Apurva, which we don't see around, which does not pay back immediately, but that apurva comes to fruition only after our death has been certified here. Okay. It's a new kind of estate that estate accounts opens over there. And the result is, depending upon whether we did it well or not, where to go.
Swami, I have a question.
Good.
Is this word apurva, is that what we see translated often as merits?
Yes, exactly. Apurva is translated as merits, and sometimes it is also called punya. Okay. So apurva can be, apurva is usually used mostly in the case of fire sacrifices. Okay. But generally it might mean any result of our deeds which are not worked out immediately. Okay. Not immediately. Apurva, it means it is subtle. It cannot be seen right now. Okay? Got it?
So it's like heavenly bank accounts.
It's a heavenly bank account. Exactly. Heavenly bank account. All right. So, tell, prabruhi it to me, maiham. Why you should tell me? Because I am full of faith. Shraddha dhanaya. The full of faith. That is, this heaven cannot be proved. Heaven cannot be proved any other way. We just have faith in it or don't have faith on it. Right? There cannot be any proof for heaven and hell only our faith. We can only come to know about these things from the scriptures. So Nachiketa says that I have shraddha, I have faith, there is such a thing called heaven. So since I have faith in heaven, that there is such a thing called heaven, that's why you should tell me. I am interested to know, and you should consider me in the camp of the believers in heaven. So please tell me. So it used to be, as we have read in Sadhana Chatushtaya, the prerequisites for studying non-dual Vedanta is Shraddha. Shraddha means having your heart on the what the teacher is saying, and also the Upanishad is telling. At least a working faith on them. So similarly, Nachiketa is trying to say that I am fit to receive this knowledge because I have faith in it. Okay, question?
Maharaj, question.
Yes.
So Apurva, you said generally relate to fire rituals.
Mm.
And punya is the good. So there is a punya,
Yeah.
whatever good
Yeah.
deeds we do,
Yes.
result of that. Apurva is
Yeah.
generally related, especially to
Yeah.
fire rituals.
Yes. So yes, to be more specific, Apurva is a specific type of merit. Okay. Apurva is a merit, is a specific type of merit that leads to heaven. Okay.
Swami, I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes. Go ahead.
So this is a different fire ceremony, perhaps, from the one Holy Mother did when she left her body and went to that loke and saw Ramakrishna. You know that account?
Yes.
The body,
Yeah. No,
they lit
yes.
fires around her
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a different ritual.
Different ritual. Right.
But the result
Panchatapa.
was she went to a heavenly loke.
Yeah.
She did.
It was more a transcendental thing,
Yes.
It's a more in the realm of spiritual experiences.
Yeah.
But
she describes, she had to come back to, sorry to interrupt. I
go
remember
ahead.
the account said that she looked at her body and it was an ugly thing and she didn't want to get back in.
Yes.
I remember
Exactly.
her
Yes.
account.
Yeah.
So different fire ritual,
Different fire ritual.
heaven, different.
Yes.
And
Of
one
course.
more thing, we studied earlier that if you don't do a fire ritual correctly, then it causes bad karma for generations. And so is this the same one? Again, that causes bad karma if you don't do it correctly?
Yes. That rule applies to all the fire sacrifices.
Oh, okay.
That if not done correctly, it might even be counter-effective.
Okay.
Yeah, counter-effective. And that's why there are so much of rules and regulations for ritual. For example, the firewood. Just take one example, the firewood. There should be a specific time of the day from a specific type of tree with specific rituals. One has to collect the tree only during that particular period. From a tree which has to have this type of characteristics, not simply a tree which gives firewood, a particular type of a tree which will show particular characteristics, then only they are fit to be taken as the firewood. Okay. And that taking of the firewood also involves a lot of rituals. So starting from collection of the firewoods, then how the firewood should be lit. There is a lot of mantras and chantings, a specific way to lit the. So anything can go wrong in the process. Anything can go wrong. So intricate. Okay.
Maharaj, is there only this apurva, this merit is there to go about the fire sacrifices, or there are some others also? Some other sacrificial things are there also? Because I found in Bhutishanandaji's book some Chaturmasya Yagya, and then I think Somo Yagya, something like that. All these are explain. Some others are also there,
Yes.
isn't it?
There are several types of fire ceremony, and all have their different results. Okay. Yeah.
So
So,
one, go ahead.
Maharaj, I have a
One common
question.
thing about all the fire ceremonies is, the fire goes upward and the
yes,
smoke travels to the sky.
yes,
So
yes,
visually, from a primitive point of view, if you imagine people doing this long time ago, they
yes,
see the result of their work ascending to heaven.
yes, yes. It was the fire was the mediator between the sacrificer and
Between
the
heaven and earth.
yes, yes, exactly. Yes, yes. Yes, Subratoda.
Yeah, Maharaj. So question is that suppose somebody has real bad karma, you know, because
Yes.
so now that person does this fire ceremony. So this can the fire ceremony compensate for the bad karmas? Hopefully not.
No, it won't.
No.
That's why
happy.
after heaven one has to come back to work out that bad
Mhm.
karma. Okay.
And
Yeah.
Maharaj, so another thing is that you earlier mentioned today that we have to come back as soon as all our punya, they are exhausted really.
Yeah.
So now in our day-to-day life, how do you correlate that? Where is that heaven? Is it that if somebody is going through some good phase of life really with opulence and all those things, is it considered to be a heaven then? To be practical, I'm saying. And then when this his punya is over, all these opulence or good thing will be taken away by the Lord. Is it like that?
Of course, we can interpret in that way that, for example, contentment itself is heaven.
Mhm.
In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there is a aphorism, Shantoshat Anuttama Sukhalava. From contentment, one finds unsurpassable joy. And in the commentary, Vyasa writes that whatever joy is in the whole world, whatever joys are in the heavenly world, all of them are smaller, cannot come in comparison with a person who is satisfied with life. One who is satisfied here in this very world, that joy is more than all the wealth of the world and all the wealth of even heaven. So we may say in our day-to-day life, the more content or satisfied we are with our life, more we are towards heaven, more towards heaven. Yeah, because of it's an interesting thing that heaven and hell sometimes may not be objective even. That is, we may think some people are objectively living in hell-like situation, but they themselves are very happy about, because there are so many other things which compensate for this abject poverty or things like that. Okay, so heaven and hell can be a state of mind itself. State of mind itself. Yeah. Some people might have all the things they have aspired for, still feeling lacking. And some people might have only their basic needs met, and they feel like we have enough. We are sufficient. So they are living already in heaven. And the
Right,
person who is having all the opulence but still feel I am empty.
Right.
So it is like hell for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Good point, Maharaj.
Yes. All right. So what he says, I am full of faith and I wants to be immortal, that in the dwellers of heaven, they partake of immortality. This immortality again is relative immortality compared to our existence, that is much more permanent, maybe a few lifetimes of our time, but finally it is not immortal in absolute term. So Nachiketa says, so I want to know about how to do that fire ritual. sargam agni. Tell me about that fire ritual. Okay. Any question?
Maharaj, is this fire ritual common? Did anyone perform it here? Is it recorded in Puranas?
That is the thing, that is the thing that unfortunately, Yama will tell all the things to Nachiketa, but Upanishad will skip the details. Upanishad will only say that Yama told Nachiketa how to perform the fire sacrifice, all the details, like how many bricks you need, how they should be arranged, and etc. etc. And Nachiketa also repeats back. And Yama becomes very happy that Nachiketa has grasped it well, have understood it well. But what transpired between them, Upanishad leaves it aside. But I believe somewhere in Veda, in the Brahmana part of the Veda, which is like a vast ocean, there must be lot of description of this ritual. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Swami.
Yes. Yes, must be somewhere.
It's in the earlier parts of the Vedas, like all the
Yes.
details are laid out.
Right. Exactly. In the Brahmana part, which is the major part in the Veda, rituals, how to do, when to do. And the problem is, that part of the Veda is problem of these periods. There is no full stop, no comma, no semicolon. So you won't know even what is starting, what is ending. Only those who are extremely scholarly in that traditions, they can only interpret them well and understand even the sentences, the meaning of the sentences.
Swamiji,
Yes.
the yajna that Gautama was doing, Vishwajit yajna, what's the purpose of that? What's the fruits of that yajna then?
Yeah, Vishwajit is his fame will be known to the whole world.
So that was not for going to the heaven.
No, probably not. Yeah.
I was looking in the Chinmaya Mission book here.
Yes.
And Swami Chinmayananda is interpreting it as he wanted to go to heaven.
Desirous
of heaven.
Oh.
And then the question comes is, if the father was doing it for desires of heaven, then why Nachiketa is asking Yama to show me the yajna that will take one to the heaven? Right?
Okay. Yeah, that could be an interpretation, because I think there is a word called Ushan. Ushan
Yes.
means, I know, desirous of heaven or desirous of great results. He was doing that is also an interpretation, right? Ushan. Another meaning of Ushan is being desirous of something, and desirous of what? So Shankaracharya and some interpreted it as desirous of heaven. Yeah, exactly.
Then like a Nachiketa did not believe that yajna will take one to the heaven. So he is
asking for the right type of yajna. Yes.
Tell me for sure.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Yeah.
Of course. This could be a valid interpretation as well. Okay. So rather we stop here today, instead of going to the next mantra. Next mantra is
Maharaj, one more thing I wanted to know, that we in a non-dualistic Vedanta, we say that Brahman without any attributes or anything. But here in these oblations and fire sacrifices ceremonies, the person who is doing it has to go for the Saguna Brahmana.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
when the
Ishvara,
different states of that Ishvara.
Yes, of course.
So whom we are
Exactly. Non-duality arose historically out of as an antithesis. Okay, as a rebellion of all these rituals and all of this. Okay. They wanted to see that whether all of these are at all needed or we already are spiritual. Already there is a spiritual entity in all of us. Instead of doing all of this, why not connect with that reality which is everywhere and through all of it through other means? Like, as we have to remember also in this context that how the ideas evolved in the Vedas. First was the rituals, then came upasana. Upasana is meditation and a special type of meditation. Take the yajna, the fire ceremony, but instead of doing it, physically performing it, you do mentally. You meditate it on it, and lot of upasana also came out that which will substitute for the actual fire ceremony. So it became more subtle. Instead of doing physical action, it became more and mental action. But in the Upanishad, we found that even if they went further, that even go beyond upasana. Okay, upasana and uh, these actions, these rituals, the deeds will prepare one for the philosophical part of the Veda, the Upanishadic part of the Veda, where one has to only intellectually, cognitively understand what the reality is and trying to live in that reality, trying to live according to that understanding. That is non-dual Vedanta. Okay. Non-dual Vedanta is not only intellectually getting it, but also trying to live the life.
But Maharaj, here Upanishad also, like as you're saying, in this Upanishad, they talk about these fire sacrifices and all these things. So that means we are not yet in the non-duality.
Yes. Upanishad will take us from where we belong. Okay. So in the Upanishads, as we have, if you have seen Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, which are large Upanishads, we will find there many things which are related to even rituals and descriptions of many things which are not at all related to maybe we may not even find why the Upanishad is speaking all of this. So we have to understand that all of these things are not as compartmentalized, as neat as we explain them. So there will be always a overlapping of ideas. Okay. In Upanishad also we'll find mentions of the rituals because it is historically evolved in a place at a time when ritual was unavoidable. For example, if humanity exists at all after 500 years and they read history of this time, they will read such a thing called Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and they will think, what was this cryptocurrency? And why people were talking in terms of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin chain and memes, NFT. Okay. Similarly, um, uh, when Upanishad and all this evolved in that larger context of a ritualistic life. So we will always find they will sneak into the philosophical discussion of Upanishad itself. Okay. So we try to put a neat definition of Upanishad, which is only concerned about the philosophy. But Upanishads are not that neat, that only philosophy. There are majority of it is about philosophy, but Upanishad contains other things too. Okay. So what happened is like a story, like a novel. It started with the mantra, the first, the hymns. As I told in the every introductory class, that how Vedas evolved. First, an outpouring of heart, being awestruck. Then we just say good things, gratitude. Then came the urge that how to connect with this awesome thing called the universe. How can I connect to it? Then they've understood that we can connect with that reality with doing something concrete by offering our gratitude to a deity called fire. And they found that fire is, if you look at it, all the religions, irrespective of being influenced by others, independently, all started worshipping fire. Fire was such a thing, like it is as almighty, can burn things. Moreover, it can transforms solid things into vapor. And they found that whatever we are giving to the fire, they are going up. And up is the place where higher beings live. Okay. It is a common psychology that anything higher, anything subtler, anyone who is superior, we also physically place them above us. And it's a psychological phenomenon. If someone stands above us, we already feel that we are lesser than who is standing up. Okay. So anyway, so that outpouring of the heart, of the appreciation of the universe, then took the shape of rituals. But as human beings, we overdo everything. Rituals we overdid. So some people will be always think or find that these are too meaningless and becoming too complicated. What is the point of all of this? They then started, the more subtle practice of meditation, upasana. And then some started thinking in philosophical terms that reality, is it only there or also here? So they started inquiry in that path, and they came up with the answer that reality which we are trying to seek out there is also here. It is only we have to recognize it. Only we have this knowledge is there, but it is somehow covered with our not knowing it, non-recognizing it. And so Vedanta, Shravana and Manana and Nididhyasana, reading, thinking and meditating on the Upanishads will clear the covering on the reality which is already there. We don't have to do all these rituals. However, we should remember Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta, does not say all those things are totally meaningless. They say that all of these prepare us for a higher life. Okay, these rituals had their meaning because rituals meant whole day engagement. Imagine only the idea of the concentration it needed, the attention it required. That is preparing ourselves for concentrating on such a deep subject like Upanishad. So that is why the sadhana chatushtaya comes, the fourfold practices come again and again into the question. That the fourfold practices make us a better student of Vedanta. So the rituals were not end in themselves according to non-dual Vedantis, but rituals, bhakti, karma yoga, service, all of these prepare us for this highest knowledge called non-dual Vedanta. Okay. So the point is, in the Upanishad, we'll always be finding mentions or overlapping of rituals, and so also upasana, right? In which Upanishad? In Kena Upanishad. At the end, briefly we found the mention of a few upasanas. Aharadhara upasana, I forgot the names even, that the blinking eye meditation, upasana, and the thunder upasana. All of these are help to sharpen our mind, make our mind subtle for the highest knowledge. Okay, so we'll find in the Upanishad now and then upasanas as well as rituals, because they are not as neat as we think they are. All
Good
right.
point.
Yes.
Good point.
Yeah. So today we stop here, and next day we shall start from there. And since we have time today, we can do a little meditation, guided
Yes.
meditation. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I will urge you to take a break for a minute or so, take water or whatever, and then we join here after a minute. Okay. And we end